Okay. Let's give it a shot.
The Rees Company.
By the way, like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the algorithm.
The Rees Company.
Crack open a tepid Genesee and watch the pictures as they travel through your neighbor's Wi-Fi. It's the Rees Company. I feel like I gave pictures way too many syllables.
I don't know.
I felt like I stumbled through the word pictures and made it way too lengthy. Well, never mind that. It's the Rees Company. I'm Steve Rees, the bull of American broadcasting, alongside the great Chris Morganti. How are you, Chris?
I'm good, Steve. I took my daughter to the Wildwood, New Jersey water park this week. And, when this is the second year in a row that we've done this. And just like last year, I decided to let her enjoy the water park by herself for a little while I hung out at the bar that they have there. And then I join her and we go on the rides together later on in the day. Now, if you remember, Steve, last year when I told everyone about this, there was a gentleman with a Philadelphia Eagles tattoo, of course, who was ejected from the water park bar for unruly behavior. He'd had too much to drink and started yelling at his, the woman that he was there with. Yeah. Well, fortunately this year, nothing untoward like that happened. In fact, just the opposite. I sat down, I ordered a pina colada, and Steve, they had on Sirius XM Yacht Rock Radio. You familiar?
I am.
Yeah. And before the bartender even had a chance to start making my pina colada, what comes on but the Rupert Holmes pina colada song? So sometimes the universe has a way of telling you that you're right where you should be, doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and that's how I took that. Then as I'm sitting there enjoying this pina colada with a slice of pineapple in it, I realized that was the first piece of fresh fruit I'd had since the last time I ordered a pina colada earlier this summer. So 90% of my fresh fruit intake comes from cocktail garnish. Yeah, that's how healthy of a person I am. But somehow I still manage to get here every week.
Well, it sounds like you had a good time.
I did. We had a great time. Yep.
So now this is going to be a yearly thing, perhaps?
I don't know. She's at the age where I don't know how much longer she wants to be at the water park. Maybe we'll go somewhere else next summer. Who knows?
Fair enough. Time. Shall we go to our movie of the week?
Oh, sure.
All right, let's do it.
Now, the thing about me, Steve, is I am not into health food. I am into champagne. Yeah. Rupert Holmes, everyone.
All right, well, this week we have for you The Fourth Man. It aired on October 16th, 1990.
That's what this is called?
Yes.
It didn't have the title listed in whatever you sent me.
Right.
And I did not pick up on that. And I have no idea what that means in reference to the movie that I watched.
Well, it refers to the part on the track team he's trying to get. He wants to be the fourth man.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll have more to say on that later.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this aired on October 16th, 1990 on CBS as part of the Schoolbreak Special series. That was the Tiffany Network's late-coming rival to ABC's better-known after-school special franchise.
Yeah, what is a school break? Are you supposed to go home during lunch and watch this? I don't. What does that mean?
I think perhaps these aired during times, like say during spring break.
Oh, okay.
Although this aired in October, so I don't know why that would be. Maybe that was Columbus Day.
Yeah.
Maybe this aired on Columbus Day,
right, which we would no longer have because we no longer celebrate that in this country. But
right. Native Americans Day, as you know it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So both series, the Schoolbreak Special and the After School Special, what they would do was they would feature stories of young people facing crises or dilemmas.
Yeah.
Now, this one has a star-studded cast.
More likely manufacturing their own crises, as we see in this one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. It's 7% of all high school students, I think we're going to hear. There's some stat like that.
Very
But
self-imposed.
we're getting way ahead of ourselves here. Star-studded cast. This features most notably the on-screen debut of Vince Vaughn. Would you call it, perhaps, Chris, his Vaughn screen debut?
You can call it that, sure.
We'll see more celebrities as we go, but why not dive right into this?
Yes.
Let's look in as 3 ex-Notre Dame football players. They're sitting around watching old game highlights and bragging about their sons.
It all over again. You know my son, Austin?
Otherwise known as Godzilla Morris.
Okay, all right. Well, he's big, okay. But that's not the thing. The thing is, he broke the state record for rushing. There's 3 colleges after him. He's still only a junior in high school.
Hey, Mike Kenny's only 14, but talk about an arm. That kid can throw a pass from San Diego to L.A.
So can Dean Spanos. So there's one man at this wingding we didn't hear from there. His name is Josh Martelli, and he's played by Tim Rosovich. He's a former USC linebacker, and he was a journeyman in the NFL. His son is about to return from school with his friend in tow.
All right, yeah.
You're too modest, both of you.
So, what about your Joey?
Well, my Joe, he's the brains in the family.
Man, talk about being modest. Look at the size of this kid.
You can tell he's yours a mile away.
Guys, the little one's mine. Favors his mother. Also smart like her. The kid's into computers. 10 years from now, he'll buy and sell all of us. This guy called my other son, Steve Garino, lives next door, plays nose guard for the JV team this year. Next year, he starts for the varsity guys.
Right. My goal is to be like you, Mr. McDaniel. Be a running back. Do you remember me? Are you kidding me? You guys were the best.
Hey, give this kid a chip, all right?
So, how's your speed? Well, I've never been caught from behind.
What did I tell you? Is this kid a pistol, huh? A pistol.
Yeah, so Joey, he's Ralph's son, and he's played by Peter Billingsley, best known as Ralphie in Christmas Story.
Yeah, he wanted a BB gun for Christmas.
Correct. Yeah. And yes, that's the young Vince Vaughn right there as Joey's friend and neighbor, Steve Garino. Well, that evening, around the Martelli dinner table, talk turns toward Joey's science project. Joey's mother is portrayed by Adrienne Barbeau. Josh shows just about as much interest as he can muster.
So, how's the quasar, honey?
Mom, that's Quasir. It stands for Quality Utilization of Computer Internal Resources. It's a program for helping people make their home computers more useful.
So what's the deal?
Oh, many things. Properly utilized, it can help revolutionize our entire society.
That sounds good to me. Our society could use some changes about now.
And I've got a very specific theory. It's the basis for my science project at the state fair. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, but, well, sure, son, but not tonight, okay? I got to meet the...
Yeah.
He's got to go watch the game with his buddies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that man is definitely an athlete because that is Olympic level uninterest. He's not even done eating and he decides, I don't have time for your audacity. Did you enjoy my mime?
I did.
That's me miming him continuing to eat a meal.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't have time to listen to words coming out of his son's mouth.
Yeah. As you said, it didn't seem like he was done eating yet.
Right.
Yet, time to go.
So he does invite his son to go to the football game with him. But Josh, he has homework. So engaging in some sass, he suggests that his father go with Steve instead. And Steve is Vince Vaughn. Chris, maybe we should revert to legal names, as I know you prefer, for the better-known actors.
Okay.
The folks can't see whatever it is you're swatting at or trying to
I can.
catch. Okay. But it's distracting.
I don't care.
Okay. Well, there's a new girl at school who Vince quite fancies, and she's portrayed by Nicole Eggert. Peter receives some good news and the attention of Nicole.
The good news is the state science fair just announced winners, and we have one in our midst. Joey Martelli, come on down and get your third prize. Your bronze medal will be mailed to you, Joey. Good job.
Check it out. Very nice.
You know, if I had the money, I'd put my order in for Martelli's Crosier program.
For you, I'd arrange a discount. Say 100% off the retail price.
Well, why don't you call me sometime and we'll negotiate?
I can't believe this is happening to me.
Yeah.
Now, I assume that was a dream sequence that would immediately end and he'd be crashed back to reality where someone would yell out, "Yeah, good job, geek." Right. But that was supposed to have actually happened.
Yes. I was definitely seeing that as the adolescent equivalent of him picking off Black Bart with his BB gun.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, man. But maybe it's because he's displaying earning potential.
Sure.
But ordinarily, girls aren't into that until a little later in life, when the student loan debt kicks in.
I mean, things might be different now because people have become celebrities by doing what he's done. Like you got Elon Musk and
yeah, this is 1990.
Jeff Bezos and those guys, sure.
Right.
But yeah, in 1990, not so much.
And also keep in mind, this is a bronze award that he won.
Yeah.
He came in third.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe Nicole just isn't into Asian dudes.
Yeah. Maybe they live too far away in the other part of the state. Who knows?
Possibly.
He's convenient. So,
well, after class, Peter and Nicole, they get better acquainted.
The Little Prince? That's my favorite book. Did you like Vonnegut?
Oh, yes. I've read everything that he's written. Slaughterhouse-Five was my favorite.
Mine too. So who do you like in music?
Oh, U2, Tracy Chapman, anything but heavy metal.
Yeah, agreed. Lyrics should mean something.
Steve, I don't know who wrote the screenplay, but they clearly know nothing about Kurt Vonnegut. Yeah, I stumbled on that one. Sorry, folks.
That's quite all right. See, now I'm getting even more skeptical of this being reality. A girl saying lyrics should mean something?
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran changes Marvin Gaye lyrics into non-rhyming drivel, and that lunatic jizz fills stadiums all over the world with screaming teenagers every night. Kind of like the ancient Egyptians who, when they would mummify a pharaoh, they would throw the brain away because they didn't know what it was, so they figured it was useless. That's Ed Sheeran listening to Marvin Gaye's music. So, any road, Nicole, she's an athlete herself, much like Vince and Peter's father. So she goes on to ask Peter what his sport is. He lies and says he's going out for track, which he then decides to do. And he makes the team. Provisionally.
Well, they'd established earlier that he was faster than Vince Vaughn. They did like a foot race from this end of the table to the other one, and he won.
He did.
Yeah.
Now, I thought he had let him win.
Oh, who knows? Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm sure you're right. Let's see this clip.
You Johnny Martelli's kid?
Yes, sir.
How come I haven't seen you out here before?
I was focusing on tennis.
Uh-huh. Not for the school, though?
No, sir. Strictly country club tournaments.
Right. How much you weigh, Martelli?
About 150.
Yeah, and a pig's eye, kid. Okay, listen up. Fastest time in the 400 meters. Benson, Winger, Martelli, Gibson, and Say.
Yeah.
They know. They were there. It just happened.
We got our first meet in 6 weeks. In the 400-meter relay, 4 men compete. 5th man is an alternate.
But I want to compete. I have to compete.
You're going to have to work your butt off, kid. You got some speed and you got some talent, but you need more. You need muscles, you need power, you need size.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
He's made the team, but with an asterisk. He has to improve somewhat.
Yeah.
In order to stay on the team.
But he's one of the fastest. You need 4 people to do a relay. He's one of the 4 of the 5 fastest. I guess he's the first alternate.
I believe he was the 4th, but I guess maybe they're saying that in order to be the 4th, in order to keep that spot, he has to really shape up.
I guess. Yeah, it's just kind of unclear. But yeah.
Well, that evening, Peter asks a favor of his father.
Dad, Could you run me down to the sporting goods store tonight?
What's it, Stevie's birthday already?
It's not for Stevie. It's for me. I, need some weights.
Pause.
Weights? You?
Weights? What for? So your issues of Tiger Beat don't blow away?
What for?
For my room. I know that there's a weight room at school, Dad, but the football players always get there first, and Coach James says I need a lot of work.
Coach James?
Gary James? Your old buddy? I made the track team.
You what?
I went down there and tried out, and I made the team.
All right, way to go. Mary, hey, Mary, we got something to tell you.
This house is now down a Mary.
Yeah. By the way, good storytelling there. Why wouldn't you lead with, hey, I just made the track team, rather than the long buildup causing him to, I don't know, whatever.
So they do go down to the sporting goods store where they meet the owner. He's an old friend of Peter's dad, played by Lyle Alzado, a man who, if you don't recognize him from his football career, you've surely seen him in many things over the years, but not so much these days, which we'll get to in a bit.
Yeah.
Lyle sells Peter some weights and recommends a diet regimen, but Peter has not earned a starting position on the track team. He shares this concern with Lyle.
Yeah.
Hey, young Martelli, how you doing, kid?
I don't know. I'm working with the weights, and I'm staying on the program, and my time's just getting slower. You
Pause.
said if I needed some extra help, I could come to you.
Have you tried urinating on your bed? It worked for this one kid.
Yeah. Somebody we know.
Well, I do.
All right, there are two things to look at. First, your weight program, then it's your diet.
I have to cut 4 seconds off my time like in 3 weeks.
It's impossible. I mean, nothing works that fast, Joey.
That's bull and you know it. Tell the kid the truth.
Excuse me?
Don't pay any attention. They call him Big Mouth Malone.
Hey, the kid's no dummy. He'll ask around. He'll find out. Need quick action? The answer's steroids.
Steroids?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Lyle Alzado, he was a year away from not only admitting to using steroids throughout his football career, but also blaming his steroid use on the brain tumor that would kill him less than 2 years after this program aired. No connection, though, Chris, has ever been made between his brain tumor and his steroid use.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lyle advises Peter against using steroids. He tells them they're vaguely dangerous and illegal. Now, I say vaguely dangerous because he doesn't specify any risks. And I think the truth is nobody really knew at the time, especially regarding long-term effects.
Yeah, do we know now? I'm not sure that we do.
All we know is there are people who use them who are healthy and look great today.
Yeah. I mean, Larry King lived to be 100. He was doing steroids the entire second half of his life.
Yeah, he was a big HGH guy. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the assistant manager, Big Mouth Maloney or whatever they called him, whatever Lyle called him, his words stuck. They stick in Peter's head as he continues to get slower on the track. So he pays the sporting goods store another visit.
Dad, you know what we were talking about before?
Uh-huh.
I need some. Please.
Bear finds out, he'll kill me.
I'll never tell. Why should I? I don't want anyone to know.
There are side effects. You could get sick.
I won't. Look, I don't need many. I'll pay you.
Forget it. Just get out of here.
Thanks.
Can we pause?
See you next time.
All right. I don't know what his interest. I guess he's getting kickbacks on the steroid sales. Well, I don't know what the see you next time deal is.
No, he's a steroid dealer.
No, well, we see that we're about to see the dealer in the next scene, but I don't know. But his whole comment of there's side effects, you might get sick. Yeah, but then you might get better within 8 hours because steroids are what they prescribe sick people. But
right.
I don't know. Right. Are we gonna see the actual dealer?
No, we're not.
All right, because he walks outside, and that's where the actual. Remember the dude with the long hair and no shirt?
Yes, that guy. He will be made mention of, but we're not going to see him. What happens? that guy who just gave Peter the steroids, he loses his job as a result of that.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that in a bit. But there's a reason why I believe him to be the steroid dealer and the guy you're describing to be somebody who's just kind of picking up the business.
Gotcha.
After this guy left the sporting goods store. So here's what happened. Peter went home. He placed the pills on his bedroom desk. He carefully considered the texture and visualized the great leaps in life, figurative and literal, he may make as a result of this decision. He closed his eyes and he gently placed the pills on his tongue. And then this occurred. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
So, needless to say, Peter does make the starting team.
Yeah. I feel like we're coming off really pro steroids, which was not my intent. But, and by the way, we should point out that last scene was from
Jekyll and Hyde Together Again.
Well, it's an adaptation of a literary classic that people have enjoyed for over 130 years, which I picked for us to view last week, and you said it was too boring. And
not my words.
You did not like my choice of movies, so instead you picked this after school special about the dangers of steroid use. So, you know what, Steve, you were correct. I see your point.
All right, so Peter and Nicole, they celebrate his making the track team by making plans to go to Sherry's party. Now, Sherry is not referenced prior.
Now, Sherry is the Baywatch girl? No, you said not mentioned prior.
Yeah, Nicole is the Baywatch girl.
Right.
And she and Peter attend a party hosted by a Sherry who is not mentioned prior and is never heard from again.
Oh, sure. It's just a party at Sherry's house.
Yeah.
There's no need for characterization there. Now, who plays the mom? Because she looked kind of familiar.
Adrienne Barbeau.
And she is from...
Maud.
No, that's not where I know her from.
Okay.
I think she was in other stuff.
I think she was in something sci-fi at some point.
Yeah, probably.
Because she goes to those conventions that...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I know our friend John Kensel has met her at least once at
sure.
Yeah. So they go to this party, Peter and Nicole, but with mounting sports, social, and academic pressure, not to mention his apparent budding interest in food criticism, Peter has a fit of roid rage at the dinner table.
Matter?
This is cold. Make me some more.
Excuse me, Your Highness. Have you ever heard the word please?
Sure. Please feed me something that won't make me barf.
Joe, don't talk to your mother like that. You want to be a winner? You learn to control yourself.
Thanks for the tip, Mr. Winner. I feel a lot better now.
So Peter suffers a nosebleed one day after track practice. So the school nurse, she says his blood pressure is high. He loses his steroid connection at the sporting goods store, the guy we saw. He gets fired for dealing out of the shop.
Yeah.
So here we see Lyle lecturing Peter once again while doing the important work of moving flexible flyers from one pile to another pile slightly to the left.
That is important.
Yeah.
Is this a scene we're about to see on our left here?
Yes, and as you can see, the guy who you're referring to...
Yeah, Jim, bring that up without hitting play. Can you do that? So we can see this still shot that we're seeing right now?
And you'll see a guy on the left looking
right
at a shirt. Yeah, that is the guy who replaces the in-store dealer.
Yeah, well, I thought he was the dealer because he's the guy that actually gave the steroids to Ralphie the first time. But yeah, he's long hair and no shirt. Like, it's a good look. Like, if you're gonna sell steroids to people, look like that. Is my point.
Yeah, not a bad
advertisement for your product.
Right. Okay, let's see this scene.
Now, it's not for kids, it's not for anybody. Look, you have some muscles, you have some speed. Why don't you have some pride in yourself and do it on your own?
I will, Bear, soon. Look, I'm not trying to win Mr. Universe. I just want to win one track meet now.
Joey, of course you do. Football players, track and field athletes, weightlifters, they're the biggest abusers of anabolics. Look, Joey, you made a mistake. And Frank didn't do you any favors. I know.
Yeah, that needs to be over there.
Steroids made me great for a couple of seasons. And then it crippled me. You're off them right now, Joey. You understand?
Sure, Bear. Whatever you say.
Now, steroids cause you to have knee blowouts, Steve? I'm not sure what's going on here.
I don't know what he's claiming.
Yeah.
I do know this. As you described, that gentleman who was looking at the shirts, he follows Peter out the door and says, I think blatantly, says, hey, you want some steroids? I can sell you steroids.
Oh, maybe that's what I was thinking of. I thought that was in the earlier scene, but okay. Yeah. All right. Either way, he's getting all the steroids he needs from the local sporting goods store. So, kids, if you're looking for any, now you know where to go.
I think later on, I don't know if we're going to see it. I think in part of the, I think it might be the doctor or Peter himself, who basically tells the audience where they can get steroids. All the places, he makes a list of all the places that are just rampant, rife, and lousy with steroids.
Yeah, yeah. Or you could just claim you were stung by a bee and get them from a legitimate doctor. There's lots of ways to get steroids.
It's not long until Vince Vaughn realizes how his friend has suddenly become a star athlete. And the two have a confrontation.
Get out of here. You don't understand.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. I see how my dad's face lights up when you walk into a room. And with me, he smiles. He can't quite hide his disappointment. Joey, you're wrong, man. No, I'm not. Steve, I need you to hang in with me just this once. I want to win one for my dad so he can see. I want to be the son he always wanted. Just once.
Yeah, so Peter promises Vince he'll quit doping after the upcoming meet. Nicole, she grows impatient with Peter, not having enough time for her. And in this scene, we get to find out why Peter isn't getting his assignment.
Joey, you know why you're not getting your assignment?
You tell me.
Because you didn't turn in an assignment. I can't grade work I never get to see. Now, I want it by tomorrow.
Don't count on it.
What?
I'm busy. It could take a while.
We have a lot of work to do today, Joey. If you don't want to do the work, go cool your heels in the counselor's office.
That's fine with me.
Sit down until I write you a pass. I said sit down.
I don't think so. I like standing.
What on earth has gone wrong with you, Joey? Sit down.
Make me.
Take your seat.
You want it? Here.
Yeah, so that scene gets the attention of the school principal, who calls a meeting with Peter's folks. His mother asks Peter if he's doing drugs, which Peter denies. His father believes him, saying Peter's too strong to do such a thing. And this marks the first time Peter has ever heard his father describe him that way, that he's a strong kid.
Yeah.
So finally, it's the day of the big meet. His parents are there to cheer Peter on. Now, to you, Chris, and to those who may go back a ways with us, this scene might look awfully familiar.
Get the paramedics now! He's not breathing!
Ring a bell, Chris?
The dude who smashed the trophy case, am I right in that?
You are incorrect.
Okay.
It was that was what was the name of that one?
Well, I don't know. I know it is the one where the dude smashes the trophy case.
Yes.
Yeah. Who's also under the influence of something, not steroids, but something.
No, you're half right. The one Chris is talking about is not crack. The one I'm talking about is crack. It's from Cracked Up.
Okay.
Where Ed Asner's son dies on the track during a race because his heart explodes from excess crack use.
Oh, I don't even remember that movie at all.
Well, you just saw one of the closing scenes of that movie.
Okay.
Yet again,
all right.
in this Schoolbreak Special.
Now, what was the one where the dude smashes up the trophy case?
That was the one with Gene Stapleton.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes, that one I remember.
Helen Hunt.
Yes. That one.
They tried that. He had to transfer to Community State.
Right. Of course.
I can't tell you what the name of that movie is right now.
Do we remember what substance he was abusing?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it might have even been like psychedelics or something. But I do remember in both those movies, even though I barely remember the first one you mentioned, they attempt to get clean at the end, and or at some point, and we realized that they were just assholes. Like their characters were just complete assholes, and their drug use, the problems that they had from drug use, could have been alleviated if they just were decent people to begin with before they started using drugs.
Right.
This is a little bit different. Ralphie's problems all seem to be centered around his steroid abuse. So, yeah.
Yeah, but also, if his father hadn't been so dismissive of his interests.
That's true. That's true.
He may not have taken this turn in order to become an athlete to impress his dad.
Yeah, we all have our cross to bear.
Yeah. So, Peter is far more fortunate than the main character in Cracked Up. Peter, he's rushed to the hospital where he is fully revived. Now here, Vince has a word with the attending physician.
Doctor, it's my fault. I should have told.
Is there something you know that I should know?
Joey's on steroids.
Steroids?
Are you serious?
I just found out. He said he was going to stop after this race.
Joey's such a smart kid. I can't believe this. Why? Someone offered you a magic pill that was guaranteed to make you do what you do the best you could do it. Wouldn't you be tempted?
Yeah, Chris, we probably should have taken steroids before recording tonight.
Yeah. Or at any point in our 20-plus year career. I got to point out, I don't feel like I was well cast as a doctor.
Oh, I didn't either. You'll hear him talk in just a moment.
Okay.
You hear him talk much more. I'll tell you, I don't want a doctor with this accent.
Yeah.
But here's where I'm fortunate, Chris. There aren't any.
Yeah, fair point. And before we move forward, Steve, I'd just like to point out the last scene that we saw where Ralphie collapses on the track reminded me of something from my own life. When I was in high school, we had a guy who was he was well renowned. I'm not going to mention any names. I'm not going to bring up people that I knew from high school and then talk shit about them and mention their names. I'm not going to do that. But he was a guy who was well known as like the biggest geek of his class, and not a geek in a good way. Not like he was smart, just like he was super socially awkward and you know what I'm saying, right? Right. But he was kind of fast, so he went out for the track team, and we could never really find a place for him because he was sort of fast, but not that fast, and nobody really wanted to hang out with him and help train him, whatever. But anyway, so he gets in this one race, and I don't remember what it was, but I believe it was a relay of some sort, and he may have been the last leg, and he gets the baton, and he starts sprinting. He's going. He pulls ahead of everyone, and everyone's like, yeah, Stephen George. Anyway, they're like, yeah, like everyone's going nuts because like here's this kid who everyone had made fun of forever is winning this race, and about as far away as Ralphie was from the finish line, he pulls up. He had what do you call them? Side stitches. You know what I'm talking about? Like pain in your like side abdomen there.
Yeah,
and and everyone ran right by him. So that was his one. That was almost moment of glory.
That was his Rudy moment.
Yeah,
but not quite.
Not quite. About 20 yards short. Yeah.
All right, so everything's out in the open now about Peter having used steroids. Peter's father has a word with him alone. And it turns out that his father was the same way with him. He was disappointed in him because his father wanted him to be an opera singer.
Sure. It's a tale as old as time, Steve. Famous opera singer begots famous athlete begots computer genius.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the doctor, before that happens, before that confession occurs, that tete-a-tete, if you will, the doctor does one of those things you see in these teen dramas, and we referenced it earlier. He educates the audience on the dangers and prevalence of steroids by spouting those details to the other characters. It's always unnatural. Here's an example.
I guess I just wasn't thinking clearly.
That's what steroids do. They make you feel omnipotent, a master of all you survey and oblivious to consequence.
Sounds like cocaine.
Like I said, steroids are drugs. And all the while you're feeling so good, you could be developing severe chronic headaches, liver tumors, acne, hair loss, blocked arteries, impotence, insomnia, violent mood swings, paranoia. The side effects are endless.
And then he broke into greased lightning.
Now, let me get this straight. Symptoms of steroid use: delusions of grandeur, blocked arteries, liver problems, hair loss. Steve, am I doing steroids?
I believe it's an active ingredient in Genesee. Yeah. So, his father expresses regret for putting undue pressure on Peter, and the two embrace.
I don't know that undue pressure is the right term here, though, Steve. It's more like absence of affection. You know, like his son was already successful at something. He just didn't care about it. You know.
Yes, and that made Peter want to become an athlete.
Yeah.
To impress his father.
But he wasn't putting any pressure on him to be a successful athlete.
Well, it was subtle. It was subtext. It wasn't
fair enough.
Just outright, you have to become an athlete. It's he understood.
This is how you gain my respect.
He intuited that you would like me more.
Yeah.
That my father would like me more if I were an athlete.
Yeah. And yet he already had the example laid out by his own father of, I can't be good at what you want me to do, so I'm going to be good at something else. You'd think he would have had a lot of understanding and empathy towards his son.
No, his son
it took a near fatal attack on the athletic field for that to happen.
Yeah. So Peter recovers. He goes back to school. He makes up with Nicole, and everybody goes home. Now, Chris, anything you'd like to add before we rate this?
I mean, I guess it would have been better if he'd lost the girl, because then it would have been like, yeah, you make mistakes in life, there's consequences to pay. You don't just get to restart from point A. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been a better movie. Well, there's a lot of things that would have made it a better movie. Let me be clear. But that would have made it better if he'd had paid some kind of price for his malfeasance.
Well, there was a consequence. He was kicked off the track team.
Oh, they kicked him off. Well, right. But before that, they allowed him to compete in that last meet before he served his detention, his month-long detention. So he had already skirted the circumstances of his chair throwing incident. You know, and now I meant to think like, oh, now once again, you skirt, you know, you can't compete in track, but you still get to do your computer stuff and hang out with the Baywatch chick. I don't know.
But also, the very last scene is a conversation between Vince Vaughn and Peter Billingsley, where Peter expresses regret that this will be something he's known as a steroid user. So he sees it as this stigma that's going to stay with him for years and years. And I think that's played off as his loss in all this.
Do you feel that that's a realistic concern?
Probably not.
Yeah.
And especially not these days. I think people are willing to forgive steroid users.
Yeah.
Because they're very entertaining.
Do you know what your friends did when they were in high school? I wouldn't.
No, but this doctor knows that 7% of high school students are using steroids.
Yeah. Well, clearly an epidemic.
Okay, would you like to...
Half of them were prescribed them by their doctors, but still.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm on steroids right now, Chris. Every day I take steroids for my asthma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep an emergency supply in case I'm ever stung by a bee.
See?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Different time.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Would you like to rate it, or shall I?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I'm giving it 2 Meredith Baxters. Not just for its heavy-handed preachiness. I think the lead role was miscast, not just the doctor. I think Peter Billingsley was miscast. In fact, as I watched this, I started to realize in A Christmas Story how much of the acting Gene Shepard's voiceovers did for him.
Yep.
So 2 Meredith Baxters from the Bull.
Well, I was going to give it 1 because why would anyone? No one's going to watch this for entertainment value. But like a lot of the things we look at, we have to consider, well, who's the intended audience for this? It's not us. We've come across a few other things that we're just not the right audience, so maybe it's better than we would grade it. Okay, fair enough. The intended audience was kids who may abuse steroids. Now, do I believe that this movie helped anyone avoid the terrors of steroids? I can't say no. So I will go from 1 Meredith Baxter to 1.5.
Okay.
Based on that.
Fair enough. In that case, anything you didn't talk about, you might like to talk about?
Yeah, but not on this show.
Okay. Well, in that case, I think we did it. I'm Steve Rees for Chris Bergani and Jim Corhan. Oskiwiwi.
Oskiwawa.
Tigers.
Tigers.
Eat 'em all. We did it. Fastcast is next.